Hi, it's Lester Martin from Starburst Academy once again. We'll continue on in our lab series of this workshop with DBT and Starburst. This one we're going to actually build out the consume zone. We're going to do that with some joined and aggregated queries that satisfy business needs, that kind of stuff, and implement that with a DBT cloud model. So pretty good stuff. What does it look like? Here we go. The PDF that you have from the blog post referenced in the information below the video there will get you this PDF if you're working these labs yourself. Probably not too long, about 20-minute lab here. And to be honest, mainly kind of what you see. We're going to verify a reporting data set that makes a lot of sense and then march forward, pull it out of Galaxy and bring it into the model and see lineage and all kinds of fun, cool stuff. All right, so what's up first? Well, hey, someone asked us to, or they started writing a query that's ultimately, looking for the, report of total number of orders and total order amounts, all that being, aggregated by customers. And specifically, we care about those customers that they're using gift card payments. So I got this query, you can copy and paste. Pretty long one, and I got it already up in Starburst Galaxy. So let me pull that on screen for us. In Starburst Galaxy, not in DBT yet. And I think I have it right over here. Okay, not there. Okay, we'll just paste it. Make sure it's in good shape then. How about that? All right, with customers. So this is a query that you probably would have taken a little time to build it. They told you what you wanted. And this query is definitely using some common table expressions, with this, with that. So it's reading some of the structured table customers and orders, reading the structured payment, only focusing on those successful gift card purchases. And then ultimately, what are we doing then? Now that we have all those common table expressions with these with clauses up here, we're going to join orders with payments, do our grouping by of all that good stuff, and then from there just kind of put that all together in a better format. And as you see at the bottom, now that the taskbar came back, ultimately just output this table that we're calling final, this kind of common table expression. Let's run this thing, see if it actually works for us as is. It's going to blow up because schema must be specified. So let's definitely pick DBT quick start. And this will be in that structured schema that we identified earlier. There it is, structure, Lester Martin. And I think I can run it again now. All right, there's our results. Again, we're not necessarily taking this query and focus on it. Take your time, look at it, make sure it makes some sense, all that good stuff. Raise questions if you can in the blog post or in the chat if needed. But ultimately, we want to verify it's going to run successful. And we did. That satisfies. We validated with our customer, yep, that's the one they like. All right, so what we want to do now is take that information, that query, and bring it with us and go create another model for it. We're going to call that model gift card orders SQL. So let's see if we can stand that up now. Models. Whoops, not right click. Hit that. Create the file. Gift card orders .sql. Don't forget the .sql. Let's see if it's still on my clipboard. It is. All right, there's all that fun stuff. The reality is, the good news is this should work as is. So let's go find out. Paste it in. Do a DBT run to make sure it really save it. DBT run it. And we'll just run just that one gift select gift card orders. So we're not waiting around for anybody else to build. So our tables are working just fine. So I short circuit it, just did a run of one instead of run of all. It's still running. And if it does finish, what should we expect? Well, we should expect it. Because of our other models did the same thing, we should expect a table over here in our data lake structured zone schema right over here. a fourth table showing up that says, there's our gift card orders. And in fact, we should be able to, select off of them and get the same kind of results we just did a second ago. In fact, we got them probably even a little bit faster because we built a table. We persisted, materialized an actual table, which, may or may not have been a good idea, but we can kind of look at this here. I want to take a moment and look at, we know, I've been talking about it in these previous labs, there's this notion of lineage. So why don't we go back and look at that model, gift card orders, kind of give ourselves some room at the bottom here, and look at this lineage tab. Now the bummer is, the lineage tab says nothing. I would expect to see some kind of arrows that suggested, well, this is made up of data from all those other tables, the customers, the orderers, or payments, but it's not really showing us that, even though I know I'm looking right at it, right here, that it is. Well, good news is easy to fix, and easy to fix by referencing those models in this model. So we're going to actually templatize the material a little bit in such a way that where we have these names, these other tables, let's call them models. So we'll say from squiggle squiggle ref parentheses single tick the name of the model, and then just unwind it, single tick parentheses squiggle squiggle. All right, so I'm just going to do that for all three of them real quick here. Here we'll just cheat and put the front and the back in there. Whoops. Hopefully I typed them all right. We'll know in a moment. And yes, that looks wrong until I go fix it. So from and then we want the back side, right? Single tick, close parentheses, squiggle squiggle. There. Okay. I'm going to hit save, and I hope we didn't mess it all up in that exercise. And actually, because the lineage didn't change right away, my hunch is I did something a little wrong. So I'm going to look at a little harder. Squiggle, squiggle, ref. Okay. That's what it should look like. From green, red, ref, parentheses, single tick. Maybe I need to run it. Maybe that's all it is. Let's just run it and see what happens. Let's do a dbt run, which I think it's trying to do. Yeah, it says it should show up right away in our editor. It just didn't, which is kind of frustrating. Save it again. I'm going to do a dbt run and see if that changes anything. Yep, we got a failure. All right, so we got to figure out what I did wrong before we get too far. Depends on a model name. There we go. So sometimes the logs actually help us. I missed an S or overstepped an S right there. I typed over my S. There we go. Let's save that again. Hey, there we go. This is what I was looking for. I was looking for our lineage to be updated to say, yeah, this model gift card orders is pulling and retrieving information or leveraging information from these other models to be building this model. So we can see this as our logical consume zone layer, while these were our struct zone layer. And I'll just go ahead and, either way I'm going to run because I don't like having that failure there. So we fixed that. We templatized it. We can see that lineage of where things have come from. If we went ahead and actually used models for the data that we have in other places, especially if we copied or something, we'd actually see a little bit more. We'd probably even see it in the land, but we chose to, again, leave them where they are, and it worked out pretty good for us. So we did a dbt run. That all failed, and it failed on gift cards, and it failed because we're having all kinds of fun fixes, huh? You know what? Why don't I pause it, figure out what it is, and let you know. 1 second. Hey, so I found it. It was actually this right here, this S. This is the S that I, went one byte in, lost the S, wonder what happened. Well, there it is right there. So we'll save it. I should be able to dbt run again. Love when typos cost you a lot. All right, so it's going to run again top to bottom. And as we said before, we got our lineage in place, customers, orders, payments. dbt run. There it is. Gift card orders is off and running now. I knew it had those dependencies, so it had to wait till it finished. We'll trust that if it goes green, it's in Starburst Galaxy. And then what we can do from there is make well, I'll just go show it to you again. So when we look in Galaxy, what's kind of yucky here is I'm making the realization that gift card orders itself, the query that we run, isn't really an expensive query. So I want to think about not materializing it as a table, but creating it basically as a simple, a standard view, and that way we don't have to worry about it, any latency issues, any freshness issues, and that kind of stuff. How would we do that? Well, we set our model up earlier in our setup file that said, hey, in this materialize them all as tables. What we're going to do is override it in our gift card orders. We're going to take this bit of code and we're going to put it at the tippity top of that model. Well, in the other tool. Yep. In our gift card orders, we'll add a few lines, and we're going to put this first. We're going to say, hey, you know what? The thing that we're building, just make it a view. We don't really need it to be a table. And if all goes well, why don't we just run it again? dbt run. I still have the same lineage in those elements. And if all goes well, when it finishes green, we'll go look in Galaxy and make sure that the icon switched from a table to a view. We can run it again with the exact same query that we have queued up too. So here we go. It's about to finish. Turn green. I'm going to open and shut the schema just to refresh it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for it to turn from a table to a view. And if we go down the bottom, doesn't matter if it's a table or a view, we should be able to run it. And looks like our cluster was seeming to be down for a second, or queued up for a second. But there we go. Queries came back nice and fast and easy for this particular one. Maybe something more materialized makes sense to view in reality at scale, but for this data set, I really used it as a good exercise to show you could change the materialization of any of these. There's a link there, describes what options you have for materializations. There's your primary ones mentioned up above. All right, so let's do a little bit more. Let's add, like we did with the other models, let's add some tests, let's add some documentation. So that's in that file we call the schema YAML, or schema YML, schema YAML. So go in here and really just says, hey, add the following to the top of schema YAML below the models line. You can put it anywhere you want. Might logically make more sense to, if you like to imagine tables before and after each other and all that, put it below it. But the system's going to be bright enough to sort that out. Meaning inside of here, we're not trying to replace anything else. We still should have these other records. I guess I was spacing by 2 for whatever reason. There we go. All right, so I'm going to save that again. And if we looked at them, same kind of stuff before, a little bit more elaborate description, but in all fairness, all we're really doing is making sure, the custom ID ought to be unique and not null and that kind of stuff. It came from the other table, which also had that test, so not too big of a deal. And then make sure dbt run and dbt docs generate work just fine. Dbt run, and I'm sorry, I meant to say dbt tests. That's what I really meant, test. Or did we run it here? Add the following in the YAML file, verify dbt. We should have said dbt run and docs still execute successfully, as well as dbt docs generate, which is really what we're trying to make work. So we'll fix that. We know the rem went fine. Dbt docs. Well, no. Dbt tests. You know what? Dbt. I think I meant to say DVT tests. DVT test. All right, let's fix it. DVT test. All right, there we go. We have a few more tests. I think we had 11. Now we're up to 13 at that point. All right, I will clean that up, but nonetheless, we are at the end of this lab. We built ultimately a simple view that satisfies the needs of our business requirement. We implement it as a model. It's all there as part of this project. So when we do get to the point where we're productionizing it and everything will all happen as a consistent workflow. All right, that's it for this lab. I'll see you in the next one.